Building a sustainable academic career requires finding a specific intersection, a journal that satisfies university mandates, advances a researcher's identity, and remains financially accessible. The JALT Call Journal meets these criteria, a Scopus Q1 ranking in language and linguistics with a 2024 site score of 3.2. It operates on a continuous online publication model with immediate open access and zero article processing charges. Researchers publish without institutional or personal fees. For faculty in specific networks like Anna University, this journal carries direct institutional weight. It is officially recognized as serial number 7 on their Department of English journalist. This combination of high academic prestige, zero cost, and local institutional approval creates a highly efficient path for researchers seeking guideship or graduation. Selecting a journal involves navigating 3 distinct pressures. As this decision tree shows, you typically choose between fast-tracked but high-cost options, prestigious journals locked behind paywalls, or the category JALT Call occupies, prestigious, free, and highly rigorous. Because this third category is rare, competition for publication is intense. Most desk rejections occur when authors approach computer-assisted language learning, or CALL, as a generic classroom observation, rather than a primary research field. Common submission errors include sending broad essays about technology and education, or simple descriptive notes about using mobile devices in a single lesson. Passing the initial screening requires a shift in mindset, moving away from general tech enthusiasm and toward a methodology of strict empirical rigor. This comparison matrix outlines how the editorial board filters submissions. Studies relying on student attitude surveys or basic software usability, like students' perceptions of ChatGPT, are routinely rejected. To pass review, you must measure pedagogical results. A topic like AI-assisted feedback requires quantifying improvements in writing quality. Successful manuscripts follow a specific 5-step sequence. It begins by identifying a concrete language learning problem and applying a technological intervention to solve it. The researcher then documents the pedagogical mechanism, tracks the learner outcome, and provides empirical evidence of development. Desk rejections are nearly certain if the study prioritizes the software's features over the measurable language acquisition it facilitates. The journal prioritizes current technological integration. Editors look for research involving modern tools rather than established legacy software. Current trends include generative AI writing feedback, corpus-informed conversational tools, automatic speech recognition, and VR avatars. High-tech studies require rigorous ethical frameworks. If collecting AI chatbots or student voice recordings, you must detail data protection protocols and institutional ethical approvals. Transparency is a requirement. Every manuscript must include a mandatory declaration detailing any generative AI used by the authors to draft, edit, or structure the submission. This declaration is required even if no AI was used. Authors who wrote the paper entirely manually must explicitly state that fact. Within this framework, technology functions as a mediating tool. The journal evaluates the research contribution based on the language learning process the tool enables. Even a well-designed study can be rejected during the initial screening if it ignores the journal's specific formatting rules. For double-blind review, self-citations must be anonymized. Remove your own name from the text and references using a placeholder like Author 1. The journal also prohibits numbered subheadings. You must use clear, text-only headings like Introduction or Method without assigning decimals. Length is strictly monitored. Regular articles must fall between 6,000 and 8,000 words, excluding the reference list and appendices. Before submitting, you must remove all document metadata, acknowledgments, and grant information that could reveal your identity or institution. Using a generic ELT manuscript template without rebuilding the structure for these specific rules will result in a desk rejection. This quadrant chart identifies which researcher profiles match the JALT Call criteria by weighing pedagogical focus against technological integration. The target zone is the top right quadrant. This area represents researchers at the intersection of ELT and computational linguistics, conducting studies like ASR-assisted pronunciation development. The journal is a practical fit for PhD scholars, who typically have the timeline required to execute an 8-week pre- and post-test experimental intervention. Researchers focusing on theoretical linguistics without a direct technological component should look for a different venue. Similarly, software developers who measure app usability without tracking student language gains will not meet the journal's requirements. A successful submission requires a balance of high-tech integration and measurable pedagogical results. For researchers with a background in engineering ELT, a high-probability submission framework involves combining AI, corpus linguistics, and technical writing skills. This framework succeeds by providing quantitative performance metrics, corpus data, and qualitative learner feedback in a single study. While there are no submission fees, the entrance cost is a commitment to rigorous methodological design. Structuring an experimental intervention requires high precision. You must define control groups, validate your assessment tools, and synthesize data to support a top-tier Scopus argument. Mastering the JALT call empirical formula is a demanding process. However, it offers a cost-free path to elite Scopus recognition and long-term institutional advancement.